Hi, welcome back to Steve Does GIS. I'm going to look here at classifying landscapes into different geomorphological units. So if you remember, Death Valley is principally made up of playa, the flat salty pans in the valley bottoms, these wonderful alluvial fans, well developed over the period of uplift of these mountains, and then the mountains themselves. On the screen here we've got a digital elevation model. And well, we could attempt a classification of the digital elevation model into the different units, but that's probably not the way to go, because we know that Death Valley has a high range of altitudes, but the fans stretch up the mountain sides. So probably the best thing to do is use slope. So here's my map of slope. And if we interrogate the slope map, we might see evidence that the fans themselves occupy different slope ranges to the mountains, which obviously occupy different slope ranges to the playa. I'm just going to put the hillshade over the top. I'll probably change the colour of the slope map so we can see what's going on a little bit better. So we can use the interrogate icon to interrogate slope, and we can click around on the playa and see that the playa has slopes ranging from 0 to 0.6, 0.8, 0.4, something like that. So maybe in the range of about 0 to 1. The fans, these paler orange areas here, have slopes in the range of about 1 to 6, 5. There we go. What are we up here? Yeah, about 6, maybe as high as 7 or 8 perhaps, in some of these areas, where the mountains themselves much higher slopes, much steeper, more rugged landscape. So we can effectively use slope to perform this classification. So let's do it just on the display. So as we were doing last week with altitude, we can click on properties, symbology, and let's go to classified. And again, I've got 3 units here, so I'm just going to click on classify. So I reckon the break value in slope angle between playa and slope is maybe about 1 degree, and for the break value between the slope of the alluvial fans and the mountains is probably somewhere around about 7. So let's just click that and see what it looks like. I'm going to change these colours so they look a little bit like what we have on the screen here. Okay, so that's reasonably picking out the fans. You can see a little bit of green in these fan areas where we've got little gullies cutting down into them. These areas in the mountains here are all infill areas. If you look at the aerial photograph, you see that these are just coalesced fans. Same in this area here above Furnace Creek. And the red areas are indeed little mini players up there. There are 1 or 2 artifacts in the data, roads and things running across the playa, which create a little step, and the dune fields above Stonepipe Wells at the north end of the mountain chain as well do stand out. So, well, maybe I could change that intermediate break value to, let's try 8. I lost my colours again. Let's just change those colours again. So it was red down in the bottom, orange in the middle, green in the top. Yeah, that looks a bit better. We've lost some of those, and so maybe that's a good classification. To make that permanent, we just need to use the reclass tool. So I've opened it up, the toolbox, and you see there's under Spatial Analyst Tools there's an option for reclass, and we can just choose the Reclassify tool. So I'm just going to open that. The input raster is my slope, it is there, and because we've already reclassified it on the screen using the Properties tab, you can see that it's already imported the old values 0 to 1, 1 to 8, and greater than 8 into this table here. if we were doing this fresh, we would have to use the classify tool in the same way as on the on-screen reclassification. And of course we can direct that to where we want it to be. So I'm just going to call this geom underscore 1075. So it's geomorphological units. Click save and click OK. And that will generate a new map. I've just chosen some random colours. If we want to make those colours what we had before, then we can change them on the screen. And I've got some colours. Put the hill shade over the top. There we have it. It's permanent layer now, and just in these three classes: 1, 2, 3. So 1 equals player, 2 equals fan, 3 equals mountains. Okay, simple.